Hello, I'm Janet Moore with the World Energy Cities Partnership. Today I'm speaking with May Endresen, who is the International Opportunity Manager for the city of Stavanger, Norway. And May, welcome.
Thank you.
I know that back in 2012, you began discussions with the city of St. John's in Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada about doing an exchange. Could you tell us how that got started, please?
It all started when we were informed that the AGM was going to take place in St. John's. We start doing some research thinking what are the competences which are special for institutions in St. John, which could be of relevance for our institutions, for the city and also for the university. And it very quickly became clear that petroleum energy research in cold climate was something that the cities had in commons. So we took contact with our university and asked them if they wanted to join us to go to St. John's for the AGM and see if they could start the communication with Memorial University of Newfoundland.
Well, the AGM, or the Annual General Meeting, is a wonderful place to start that sort of dialogue, isn't it? And given that both Aberdeen and St. John's have sort of cold weather, Arctic issues, it does seem like there's a lot of synergies there. What came out of your discussions? What learning came out of the exchange?
When the university went along with us to St. John's, they also had their own agenda in terms of they were looking for international partners to establish a new research institute in Norway, the Roald Amundsen Research Institute for Cold Climate. And when they met with the university in St. John's, they fairly quickly found out that this was a possible link that they should discuss further. But that's what was all that was allowed for the time that we spent in St. John's. So we agreed that when we were going to meet again in Houston for the working meeting of WECP in May 2013, we should try and follow up and see what could be the next steps.
Wonderful. And what was the most important learning that has come out of this relationship to date?
The most important learning is that when you are able to find what needs and competence are in both cities, then there is a very important interest to try to work together and see how they could find joint project and project which they know the industry would be interested in. Because what we did when we met in 2013 in Houston was that our mayor, she took the initiative. So we met one of the big oil companies that is represented with offices in both cities to discuss what could be common research project which they could join together, and then they could try to get it funded by the industry. And it was very successful. So now one of the most important thing that came out of it is that they are working on a joint project to see if they could find a project which could be funded then by the big companies which are based in both cities.
May, what would you recommend to other cities that are considering doing such an exchange?
I think one of the most important things is that when you are going for an AGM or any other meetings in the WCP, you have to look to the city which is hosting it and try to find out are there any competences, any special knowledge or industry in that city which we could benefit of bringing some affiliated members or institution from our city along with us, so that we don't just go for the meeting, but we try to see it in a broader context.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much for your comments, May, and thank you very much for listening. I'm Janet Moore.